Alright, so first I want to start by saying Kalalal Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakakadash, the bonus to the apostles, and elders of James Graham Stone, and salutation to you, Hakim, out there pushing the truth in sincerity to the full leg. Shalom. This is Brother Kanan from James, Jamaica. Here's a quick lesson. And in this lesson, I'm going to basically point out how men basically become scavengers, and based on their what they're doing today is what make these men scavengers, or you so-called humans, right? Scavengers. No, a scavenger is basically something that cleans the earth. You know what I mean? You're the rubbish bin. You take the waste and you get rid of it. That's what basically scavengers are here for. And the Most High Yahweh, Yahweh created these animals to do their jobs. You see, everything is in its perfect order. There has to be a balance to life, and persons are trying to step away from the balance. The Bible also tell you that a just weight and balance is the most high delight. You know what I mean? But persons don't seem to think that life is a balance. You can't have clean all the way. You know what I mean? Everything cannot do the same thing. There's a difference and a distinguish between certain animals or certain things, and you have to accept them for what they are created for. You can't just be naive and just say, oh, whatever you want to do, you do, because there's uh to for every action there is an opposite and equal reaction, because that's balance. You know, I mean, everything has to go back into a balance. So whatever I've done here, there's a reaction on this side. You know what I mean? And this is not just, this is science, this is life, this is true, which science means true. You know? So men being naive and foolish and stupid in their minds have now become like scavengers, because you're doing exactly what the scavengers does. So I'm gonna read some scriptures, and I'm also going to play a video, because a brother made a post. And even though this person is a Christian, more than likely it could be a Seventh-day Adventist. you know we're not saying that persons don't speak truth in certain aspects, but for the majority of the doctrine, they lose out on it, and that's where you get the deception, because they speak, or because this part might be right, because they're coming from the Bible, but not everything that they're saying is from the Bible. All right, we as Hebrew Israelites, we bring everything that we're saying from the Bible, and if we're saying something that is not from the Bible, then unless it is factual based on life itself, that's what, because of, for example, what I mean, you have certain diseases. Yeah, again, the Bible is truth. When you see truth, you know truth. And again, you throw something up and it falls to the ground. That's truth. The Bible doesn't have to tell you that. But let's not step aside from what we're here for. Alright? So, I'm going to play the video. As you can see, these are some animals that are scavengers. And rightly so. You know what I mean? And persons tend to not accept that there are scavengers out there. And should we be eating scavengers? Just the thought of it alone tell you no, that's common sense. But again, persons are evil and will continue to do their evil part. So let's put the video.
And then let's talk a moment about pork, ham, bacon, pepperoni. These are some of the things that the scripture tells us we should not eat. The ushers have already locked the doors. And of course, this has to do with anything that comes from a pig, a hog, a swine. And I know some of you love pork chops. You love ham and cheese sandwiches. I grew up on all that. I love bacon, but for our health's sake, we have to be willing to make some changes. God knows what's best for us. And back in the Bible days, the pig was considered unclean. It was never considered.
Right, they like to say, I'm going to play some, I'm not going to just talk over it, but like to say back in the Bible days. What does that mean? Back in the old days, right? We're still in the Bible days. This is prophecy. You know what I mean? The pig was not unclean. The pig is unclean. And that's how we have to speak, because it is what it is. There's no miracle that changed the pig from being unclean and changed the purpose of what the pig does. You know what I mean? It has always been created for that way, and it is doing what it was created to do. And all things are perfect in the sight of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. You know what I mean? So let's play some more.
Source of food. And one of the main reasons why was the pig will eat anything. A pig eats waste and garbage. This is kind of gross, but a pig will eat its own dead child. A pig will eat other sick and infected animals. They're scavengers. And what's interesting is the pig has one of the quickest and poorest digestive systems of any animal. It takes only 4 hours, and that's not good. Because the digestive system is so quick and so poor, many times the toxins from the food are not properly eliminated, and they are stored in the pig's fat. That means that pig can eat all kinds of filth and garbage. It can eat other infection. 4 hours later, it's sent to the slaughter and butchered. In a few days, it's on your plate at home. You're having ribs. The problem is the toxins were never properly eliminated from the pig. On the other hand, the animal...
Then you have diseases, you have outbreaks, you have persons being weaker. But again, persons think that they know best, and because of their gluttonous, craven, and desires, evil desires, you know what I mean, they will bypass this and still think that that plate of filth is good for them because it is really filth, because that's what the thing feeds on. And then they're going to say, oh, this animal eat this. Again, the person just explained to you there's a different breaking down or different stomach that these animal has, or digestive system that these animal possess, to get rid of waste, and they don't do it that well. So you're basically intaking all that waste. You know what I mean? So let's play some more.
that God says are okay for us to eat, like cow, lamb, deer, buffalo, these animals eat fresh, clean vegetation. Their digestive system is much more sophisticated. In fact, a cow basically has 3 stomachs. And that fresh, clean vegetation is processed through a digestive system that takes 24 hours. Think about it, 24 hours versus 4 hours. Would you rather eat an animal that eats waste and filth, or an animal that eats fresh, clean vegetation? An animal that poorly processes the food and stores the toxins in its fat, or an animal that properly eliminates the toxin from its body? I don't know about you, but I don't want to take a chance of putting that kind of junk in my body.
Right, so you see it, right? That's how these persons or people operates, you know what I mean? As you can see on screen again, scavengers, you know? So men have become scavengers by feeding on scavengers, because clearly that's what people are doing, feeding on scavengers. Now let me just show you the balance again, you know, and I could read a little. All right, let's start from top. All right, so understanding the Most High and how things work. Because remember, in the days of Noah, when he was going on the ark, you know what I mean, basically he was to bring in clean and unclean animals. And again, the Most High know why he's doing this, because you need the unclean animals to do the unclean work, and you need the clean animals for you to feed. That is the food cycle. You know what I mean? Or what they call it? Yeah, the food cycle or chain cycle or whatever they want to call it. Yes, you get the point, right? That's how it works. This eat this eat this break down this go back to this, and life continues. You know what I mean? Persons are trying to be naive and stupid about life, and they're killing themselves, being fools. Alright, so let's go. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 33, and let's start from verse 7. Alright, let's continue. What? So let's start. So why doth one day excel another, when as all the light of every day in the year is of the sun? Alright, so why is a day different? Alright, basics. By the knowledge of the Lord they were distinguished, and he altered seasons and feast. So that there he created is a separatist, or dividing things. You know what I mean? Sanctifying some and leaving some for whatever, you know? Are unsanctified. Verse 9. Some of them hath he made high days, and hallowed them, and some of them hath he made ordinary days. And all men are from the ground, and Adam was created of earth. In much knowledge, the Lord had divided them. So men are divided also. So this one united race thing that these people are pushing is against God. God is not against it. You know what I mean? In much, God is not with it. Sorry, God is against it. Right? In much knowledge, the Lord had divided them and made their ways diverse, different people. You know what I mean? Like the Bible says about Esau and Jacob. Jacob is a man of tent, Esau is a man of the field. Two different attributes. Esau likes to hunt. Who you know likes to hunt today? The so-called white man. The music who you know more likely to be in and you know do the home activities or stay in. Jake, that's your Negroes, that is a Native Americans. You know what I mean? You're not gonna, well, you're not saying you're not going to say, and then again, you cannot just look at a person color and say, oh, he's an Israelite or he's an Edomite. You know what I mean? But for majority of of people, you will see that are Edomites, they will have a Caucasian look. And if you look on your television or your YouTube or any program that you normally check, when you're seeing hunters, who do you see? The so-called white man. And they're very skillful in it because they were given these type of knowledge and skill. The crocodile hunter. You know, these men, yeah, it's there. Let's continue, right? Some of them are the blessed and exalted, and some of them are he sanctified and he set near himself. But some of them are he cursed and brought low and turned out of their places. As the clay is in the potter's hand to fashion it as his pleasure, the most I did think to him pleasure. So man is in the hand of him that made him, to render to them as liking him best. Yes, so things are created for different purposes, different reasons, and some are high, some are low. You can't just try to make everything one. That is madness. Alright? Let's continue. It says good is set against evil and life against death. Duality. The sinner against the godly. Duality. So look upon all the works of the Most High, and there are two and two, one against another. So you have to have clean animal and you have to have unclean animal. And why would you want to eat unclean animal? Because you're nasty. And I mean that's the straight up. You're nasty, you're stupid, you're a scavenger. And for that purposes you're destroying yourself. You know what I mean? And you think you're doing something good in doing that by being nasty, being gross. You know what I mean? So let's let me get a scripture here real quick. Alright? I'm just gonna put up with this. Okay. Alright, so this is let's start from this. Verse 15. This is Isaiah 66 and verse 15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. So the Most High Yahweh Shem Yahshua is going to do that. They that sanctify themselves, making yourselves clean, trying to make yourselves clean, you know what I mean, thinking that you're pure, right? And purify themselves in the garden behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh, and the abomination and the mouse shall we consume together, saith the Lord. Right? So you guys think you're doing something good, but guess what? The Most High says is gonna consume you. For I know their works and their thoughts, it shall come. It shall come that I will that I will gather all nations and tongues, and they shall come and see my glory. Alright, so without going any further into that, the Most High is going to destroy those that are sanctifying themselves and making themselves right and pure, thinking that these things that they're doing is good. You know what I mean? And the one, you're destroying yourself already, you're committing sin. And sin is what? Leading to death. The wages of sin is death, which is why you're killing yourself, which is why persons are not living longer than. And you say, oh, what happened? But then you are persons that live out their entire lives. Families that live their entire lives never eating anything unclean. Like Peter said, you know what I mean? Because this was our way of life. But we've been forced and given this type of filth by our oppressors, and now we're accepting these things as if it is what we love or we should love, being disobedient. You know what I mean? So that's I'm gonna wrap up. I wanna say Kala Lali Hawa, Bashem Yao Shai, Bashem Rakakwadash, dub honors again to the apostles and elders of James Stone, and to your came out there. Shalom, alright? Stay safe.